No, we don't do that. Welcome everybody to DC Figures and Collectibles. This has been a crazy day. A lot of things have tried to prevent us from recording. A lot of obstacles, but Scott and I are so dedicated to bringing you news about plastic action figures, and we want you to hear it from 25 to 30-year-old adults that we persevered and we have watched tons of YouTube video how-tos. And we're actually becoming knowledgeable on this recording stuff, funnily enough, because Anchor's forcing our hand.
Yes.
Anchor's sucking for us.
Anchor's forced our hand, and then Skype removed our hand, which is rather strange, but we are still here. It's been sort of like an Alfred day today, just been researching and investigating.
Yeah, we usually like to have Anchor do all our work for us, but I guess we have to do our own stuff today, and that's all right.
Yeah, it's been a manual recording almost.
Oh yeah, but I am excited, and I'm happy that we're finally getting everything worked out. We you know what? I think that the way that we recorded, we might even be able to get a YouTube video up of the podcast. So silver lining.
Ooh, nice. That is a silver lining. Yeah.
I even have to start a whole podcast YouTube page. Who knows?
Sounds good to me.
But yes, Scott, you're it's late there. It's getting late there now. But we want to know, how are you doing? And then also, any new figures, any new toys that you got coming that strictly acquired?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. Yes, I recently got the new Mafex Bruce Wayne, who is fantastic in every way, apart from the fact his hand snapped on the first time I ever used him.
No!
Deeply annoying. It's deeply annoying. In the last couple of hours, I decided to do some pictures with him, and I went to move his hand, and the peg is now stuck inside of one of his in his open hand. I'm really pissed about that, but can still make it work anyway. It's an inconvenience, but it won't stop me from trying to make it work. But yeah, I know Lewis had the same problem. He was at the back collector. His hand peg got stuck in one of the hands, but there it is. That's Mafex for you. QC issues continue, it seems. But and also the other new figure I got, which is a figure I know that you have, and I've wanted it for a long time, is the new Beast Kingdom Steppenwolf, who is just an absolutely sensational figure. He's so tall and imposing and fits in with the 6-inch line pretty well, and he's just a phenomenal figure. Like, the head sculpt's fantastic, and that axe is just like I swear it's heavier than me. The axe, it's fantastic. I know you love that figure as well. It's so cool.
Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't snap on you.
Yeah, no, I certainly hope not. No, I think it should be absolutely fine, and unless Superman breathes on it, and then Wonder Woman comes and smashes it with the sword. Hopefully they don't fight. If it was like Toy Story, I can imagine that happening overnight. Yeah. But you've been photographing some Beast Kingdom figures as well, I noticed this week.
Well, yeah, inspired by you, because you busted it out, and I had to use some figures that, like I told you because of the episodes are ran out. I'm just trying to use some figures that I don't often photograph, so it's been nice to bust those out. Yeah, and I'm glad that you're able to see that even though they might not be so good at keeping their word, especially in regards to us, that Beast Kingdom does make some pretty solid figures.
Yeah, they make some really cool stuff. I really like their new Aquaman as well. He looks so good.
The comic accurate version.
Yeah, the new movie Aquaman that they've made, it just looks so freaking cool. I would love to get him. Hopefully somewhere around here does get them in. Got Steppenwolf from Emporium of Cool. Who I've recently discovered that they've got quite a few Beast Kingdom figures, and I'm just going to have a look now because they haven't got the Aquaman. They haven't got the Aquaman in from from the new movie yet, which is disappointing. But they have actually got pretty much all of the Justice League wave, which is amazing because I've never seen them in the UK anywhere. So they've got Cyborg, Aquaman, Steppenwolf, Batman. And they're going to get the
figures.
Yeah, they're going to get the Superman in. He's on pre-order, and they're getting the Nightmare Batman in as well on pre-order.
That's impressive.
I'm so hoping they change the coat on the Nightmare Batman, because if they make that coat look cool, I will buy that figure.
Yeah, it's not looking so good in the promo images.
No, it's looking less sort of coat, more sort of bulk roll at the minute. But hopefully they do sort that out, because if they make the coat look cool, like the sort of in a sort of mezco sort of way, it would look good. It would look really good, and I hope they put wires in it as well. Please put wires in it.
They got to. I mean, if they're going to put wires in the sash of a Iron Fist figure, they got to put. Well, yeah, never mind. That's a completely different company. I was thinking of Mezco. Well, I was thinking of Mezco because I'm looking at a shot I wanted to talk to you about. It's from your previous weekend theme, when your theme was outdoor photos.
Yes,
and
yeah.
You tend to always bring your A game for this figure, especially for outside shots. And you didn't let us down here. And there's a really cool background that's in the shot, and I wanted to ask you about, because it looks about as England and Britishy as you could get. And it looks like there's an actual castle in the shot. It's of your Nightmare Mezco Batman shot.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind. And the castle in question behind it is Malcop Castle. It's called, near me, in Cheshire, just down the road, maybe about 15-minute drive, 10-15 minutes. It's an amazing place, and it's like I've said to you before. If you come to England one day, we're going straight there, because you'll absolutely love it. There's like a whole sort of massive rock area that you can go climbing up, and some really cool sort of grass areas as well. And then you've got the beautiful castle at the top. I just wish you could go inside it, because if you go inside the castle, there's it's like a moss green sort of floor, and then all the beautiful brickwork around it, but you can't get inside it now, unfortunately. You used to be able to a few years ago, but you can't now, which is disappointing.
What happened? They put like a fence up?
Yeah, they've completely locked the gate, and nobody's allowed in there now, even though the opening times are still on there, of when it will be open. It doesn't actually ever release to the public now, which is a shame. I'm guessing because people just go in there and vandalise or whatever, so they've stopped that, which is typical England. But yeah, it's a beautiful setting. I mean, there's so many different angles to this place. That particular one is taken side on, and then a few weeks earlier I did a picture of the Mafex Christian Bale figure in front of the castle. That's the front on view in that picture, and I did the Nightmare one, because at the top all the rocks are sort of browny yellow and very sort of like nightmare-esque. And yeah, so definitely wanted to do a picture of that, because it kind of looks like a ruined city or something like that. So yeah, it was good fun going up there and doing that. It's bloody windy though up the top there, because it's on the top of a massive hill, so getting your figure to stand up sometimes can be a pain. But if you go early in the morning, it's quite nice.
It looks nice. It also just looks like a cool place to chill.
It is. The view from, if you're looking at the picture that I've done on the right-hand side of that picture, the view down there is unbelievable of like the whole of Staffordshire you can see in the distance. Beautiful view, really is.
It actually looks like you could see some blue sky in the shot.
Yeah, which is a rare thing for England. You've got to make the most of that blue sky when it's there.
And then another photo that I wanted to ask you about, and I just wanted to talk about how cool it was, especially with the amount of response as well. And it is an outside shot of your favorite version of this team, the Justice League animated version. And there's a couple people missing, and a couple comments are fretting about that, but nonetheless,
yes,
you did a fantastic shot, cool angle, and Why are there people missing, Scott? Let's hear
Well,
this explanation.
so somebody's got to watch the watchtower while the rest of the league are out on a mission. But I mean, this shot in particular is kind of inspired by Twilight because they're going to New Genesis, seeking High Father. But I decided to mix it up a little bit, so I dropped Wonder Woman from the picture, and Green Lantern and Flash were never originally in that episode anyway. They never showed in it, and throughout the entire series, I think there was only 5 or 6 episodes in which the whole of the league were actually in it anyway. So you got episodes like Savage Time and the Secret Origins episode at the beginning, and also the very last episode in the series as well. So there isn't that many episodes in which they all feature, all 7 leaguers. So I wanted to try and mix up a bit, keep it a bit more accurate to the show, because they don't always go on missions together, and they tend to leave people back to look after Earth or just do watchtower duty or something. So that was my thinking behind it, and the footbridge was narrow, so it would have looked a bit crowded with all the league there.
How dare you think of a logical, good explanation?
So this thing, everybody was going nuts, like saying, "Oh, where's Wonder Woman? Why is GL not here?" It's like, oh, they're busy.
Because you hate women and you're a racist, Scott. Just tell me. No. But nowadays, that's what people would think.
Yeah,
but it's I also just really like the colors that you have in there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing as well. Wonder Woman, I suppose, would have fit in, but Green Lantern, I decided to drop him because he's green backdrop and he's obviously green. So Martian Manhunter stands out because of his blue cape, so he was okay. But just wanted to have something a bit brighter in there, and mix the order up a little bit. Like put Hawkgirl behind Superman. Bring Flash a bit further forward and put Batman at the back. Just change things. Superman's always going to be at the front. He's the main man. He's the powerful one.
Oh yeah, and the people have spoken and they love it.
It was very, very kind of everyone, because I didn't really rate the shot that much. It's just it's okay, I guess.
That's the way it goes, though, right? Ones that you feel like are the easiest tend to just blow up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's true. And I took that place in a place called Knipersley Reservoir, which is an amazing place. It's got like a warden's castle just behind in that picture. Amazing place. I did the Aquaman shot that I did for that theme there as well. Beautiful waterfall, and definitely gonna go back there.
I can't believe you busted out 3 Mezco shots.
I know, yeah, it's weird. It was weird, but yeah, wanted to do something a little bit different and photograph figures that suit the surroundings, not just do Batman pictures out everywhere in the open. That's not really what he's about.
No, and you busted out CW heroes. That's rare for you.
Yeah, it was the first time ever I've photographed some CW. Actually, not the first time ever, but the first time I've ever used like Supergirl, Martian Manhunter, Speedy, Reverse Flash, because I've done a picture of Arrow before.
And then I have to give a couple big props for just the creativity. I love that you put the new cape on the Justice League animated Batman.
Yeah. I'm desperate to try that, and it did take some heat of the neck because the cape can be a little bit too long. But the neck piece is a bit too long. So.
Ah, okay. It looks like it worked well. I would never even been able to tell.
Well, I like the look of it that much that I've now left it on him, and the Batcycle Batman's been abandoned in a cupboard. So the Justice League Batman is sitting high up on a shelf.
Loving life.
He is. He's loving life up on there, watching over the room.
Then there's another recreation from a great scene and something right up my alley that I really love. And you did I'm pretty sure everyone remembers this scene from the Two-Face Part 1 where he flips Harvey over and sees the damage.
Yeah.
You really killed this one. Like, you beautifully done.
Thank you. No,
Contrasting colors of the orange and the blue. The way you had the one side of Harvey's face a little bit more lit up than others because he's in the midst of the acid. Bruce's face just looking traumatized.
Yeah, that when the expression pack first came out, that face was just reminded me of that moment straight away, and it's such a great moment. I know you said it was one of your favourite moments as well when we reviewed the episode. It's just so good the way that Conroy delivers that line. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
You definitely feel the human being of Bruce Wayne in that moment.
Yeah, because it's more than just some random guy, isn't it? It's Harvey Dent, his best friend, and it means a lot to Bruce. And you can tell the pain. It's not like he's screaming out in anger. He's just deeply hurt by what's happened, and he genuinely did try to stop it from happening.
Yeah, even after the fact, just no getting through.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was unavoidable.
And then there's just you've been on a roll at classics lately. And not only classics, but just capturing them very well. And the one you did today from, I think it's your first picture this morning, is the epitome of classic. And it just, Batman 89 doing the no look punch to the guy come behind him. You did it so well. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind of you, because the 89 pictures, love doing them, probably more than anything else, to be honest. Love that movie to death, and it's good fun to photograph. And been messing around with the atmosphere aerosol as well in some of those pictures, and with mixed results, but never going to learn if you don't try and give it a go every now and then. But no, it's really kind, because it was so hard. I was so nervous of breaking Batman's arm. It doesn't look like there's much articulating going on there, but honestly, it would not budge any further than that.
I feel you there. That's a scary figure to pose.
It really is, isn't it? But yeah, pretty much it for me. That is this week. I'm not going to lie, because it's been good fun, and we started the weekend theme with Green Lantern.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's with Lewis about the Bat Collector. He's done a really cool first shot. Make sure you check that out.
You started with was it the third episode or the second episode with Green Lantern?
Yeah, the second episode. This is in the series in Blackest Night. I love how they just dive straight in with a big story about Green Lantern. It's fantastic, and it's the second episode, and you got a Batman isn't in it. Superman's only in it for cameo parts, so it's a big step, because they got the two main men from the DCAU almost dropped from the second episode, and they make it work brilliantly. They really do, and they develop the characters really well. Like Flash has got a fantastic role in it, talking about habeas corpus. if that's so, and fantastic.
I love that they took that risk and they weren't afraid to stick to their guns, because at the end of the first one, Batman's like, I'm not going to be in this, but if you need my help, and you will, you could call me. And they stick to that. So they don't just have him appear all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's so good, that is. I love that. And it's just epitomises Batman's character so well. Here's the Watchtower, now leave me alone. I'll come when I want. I'll come and help when I want to. But it's a great episode. It really is underrated, and I had to do a picture from it. It was obligatory.
It's such a classic DC animated style way of storytelling too, because it just drops you straight into this predicament. You see Green Lantern's on trial. You have no idea what for, and you get to hear all the backstories and flashbacks and everything.
Yeah,
so it catches your interest.
Yeah, and out of all the screenshots that I've got of DCAU stuff, I love the one of the three judges. Absolutely love it. The Aduris planet is just such a fascinating world, and it really is such a cool visual episode. It's got so many beautiful scenics in there, and the judges are absolutely fantastic. I love the voices they cast for them as well, and the Manhunters, how they originate from Oa and stuff. It's such a cool episode. So many twists in it, and it's good to see that early on the Leaguers have got that real special bond, and that like Flash doesn't give up for GL, and you know, got Hawkgirl and Superman investigating it as well from afar. Manhunter steps in to help as well. So yeah, really cool episode, and they got so many different dimensions to it, and so many twists and turns, you know, and eventually tracking down Ken Jarrow and taking him down, and Green Lantern is free again.
You guys are lucky you got a little bonus episode review.
Yeah, it's a great one, that one. I really enjoy that one. But yeah, so in terms of toy photography this week, how's things going for you?
It's going interesting. It is a little weird not to have a set time, a set episode, know what I'm doing. Feels like I'm just freestyling it.
I bet it's a nice feeling, though.
It is nice to get a little breather. It is nice, yeah. And it's nice to feel like I'm justifying purchases on other figures that I haven't photographed as much.
Yeah, and I love when you do the freestyle animated stuff. Because I suppose every day you're kind of locked into a particular picture, and then you do something different with another one. But so like the Bat Cycle one that you did with the ready sets, that's a cool picture. Really like that one. And you've been doing some pictures of some dark side ones I see outside, and
oh yeah,
the dark side one in particular I really like, because I know we briefly talked about this before, but I just love how much of nothing there is in that picture, which makes it everything.
That's the just hearing responses like that, and even just in talking to like guests like we've talked to before, just hearing people enjoy that sort of thing and understand the background stuff. It's just so rewarding. This is why one of the reasons I love talking to you, because you just you understand the characters, you understand, you know, everything that's trying to be put into a picture and the reasoning. So when there's someone that, and I'm sure you've thought of it before, and you even talked about just setting things up and your thought process of going into just a Justice League photo and the reasoning behind it and the thought. I love that kind of stuff. And so when you hear someone actually is thinking along the same lines as you, without you having to explain it to them, that's rewarding.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's fantastic. And we were on about Arrowverse, actually. You did an Arrowverse shot as well with the some of the Soap Studio figures and Mattel and DC Collectibles all mixed up, which I really like that picture. That was cool with the ready sets, and enjoyed that. And also, I really love the one that you did with the Connect and Collect battles.
Oh, with the Croc and Clayface.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Really, really nice shot.
That's a place and a shot. I go down to a doctor's office monthly to just check on my back, see how I'm doing, make sure I'm not getting any crazy damage and all that.
Yeah.
So there's a spot, a dry riverbed close to where I attended college and all that, and I might have taken a girl there once or twice, maybe why I know about it. And I happen to think it would fit well with these guys and with the colors and everything at the time of day I was going to be there. So it's one of those things where you see a location maybe once or twice as you drive by, or maybe remember it. And now doing what I'm doing, I totally look at everything differently. I don't just see a building, or I don't just see stuff. I just think of how can I possibly get a cool photo out of it, which is it's hilarious to think that. It's just how we train ourselves now.
It is, honestly, it is. It genuinely is, because you're just driving down a road or something, you see like a field, or like you say, a building or something, and you think, that's quite a good place to go and do a picture. I quite like the idea of that.
Yeah, and it's also fun to break out of your normal house, or maybe you feel like you're shooting. Maybe you feel like you're shooting too much of a certain set or something. It's like I just need to break out. I've even noticed sometimes while I'm driving, or if I'm with family or just going to coach on the weekend or something, and I notice I really like the lighting in the sky or just the lighting in general, I'll try to look at what time it is and mark that and see if I could try to get the same light the next day if I don't have a figure with me.
It's a good idea. That's a good
Something
idea.
like that. Yeah, it's weird, but that's how I'm thinking nowadays.
No, it's a good idea. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, but other than that, I feel like photo-wise, I've been really inspired lately by the new Joker trailer.
Yeah, and that picture that you did today and the one that you did yesterday as well, really cool pictures. I mean, I especially love the one that you did today. I love the behind the scenes that you did for that as well. It's really cool.
I'm glad. It didn't really. I thought it would. It's one of those ones I thought people would be a little bit more pumped about, but it's slowly going okay. But I really am happy with how it turned out. And I actually think doing a recreation wise, I think I did pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Not to
that
toot
one.
my own horn.
So what did you use for the makeup on Joker's face?
The makeup?
Yeah,
okay.
So the details look so good.
Well, before, I would use charcoals, and I would use like a red charcoal and a blue charcoal, and that I noticed that if you didn't wash that off right away, it would kind of stain. So that's not the route I wanted to go anymore on these figures, especially with DC Collectibles figures going up in price.
Yeah.
And so I did Photoshop, and this is actually, I think people would think, oh, it's a simple Photoshop job. Red lips, little blue eyes, but there's actually something that I really I think I just learned, but I think it's interesting and it just makes me appreciate more people that do special effects. While zooming in, because you could zoom in on Photoshop crazy amounts, and there's different sides of each side of his face is lit differently. There's more of a blue tone on one side, more of an orange tone on the other.
Yeah.
So I had to find a red that matched more of a blue tone on one side, and then warm it up and make it more orangey on one side. And yeah, so that was actually trying to get the lighting to match and everything was more of a challenge than just trying to get it to look like the actual makeup.
That's genuinely fantastic because you can't tell. It looks brilliant.
That's what I was going for. When people were like saying, "Oh, like why did you do that to your figure? Ruin it?" It's like it's just Photoshop. But I'm really glad you think I did ruin it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And man, so I'm glad that you like it, and I'm just happy to have some content that is DC related that's causing people to feel as inspired and creative in these kind of ways. And it's all any new DC media is exciting, and we've had a few big DC things. And since we're talking about Joker right now, I'll just start with that first because I feel like we have more to say about the other program or whatever we want to call it, media. But what are your thoughts? And I know you've seen it, and I'm glad you saw it. What are your thoughts on the Joker trailer?
I think it looks good. Very mysterious still. We don't know anything more now than what we did before, really. I'm curious to see how he actually becomes the Joker, so to speak, because everyone knows Joker is dropped in a vat of acid to become the Joker, but so who is this guy like? Because it's all just makeup at the moment that he's using. So I'm really fascinated to see what they do, if anything, with regards to that. So
with like a chemical, with chemicals being involved somehow.
Yeah. I find that fascinating if they don't go down that route.
Okay, but, well, since we did kind of talk about this a little, I have a new theory that I want to propose to you on this before we move on to what you think next. Okay, so if you look at the trailer, the part where they show him painting his face, it looks like he's using a brush, and it looks like he's using real paint. It doesn't look like he's using face paint. Now, paint back in the days was just riddled with lead, and we know that if you eat lead, that could make you mentally off. So, and it showed him licking it. So maybe maybe the face paint will have an aid in further making him mentally ill.
Perhaps so, yeah.
I mean, that could be the most ultimate reach ever, but I'm just trying to think, like, if I'm them and I'm trying to make it the chemicals are somehow involved, that could be it.
Yeah, I think it's like an ultimate reach kind of film, isn't it? To be fair,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, nobody has a bloody clue what's going on in this film, because we haven't really seen much of anything of Thomas Wayne as well, and he's going to be one of the lead characters in it. But you notice something very cool about the Waynes.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. They're really trying to make Thomas Wayne look not sympathetic at all. They're making him look like the villain.
Yeah.
And so, what else? What I want to hear everything you got before we go on.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, I'm just really impressed by it. The visuals look good. Gotham looks good, which is impressive because Gotham's a character in itself. You've got to make sure you always nail that, and it looks like they are going to. But yeah, I think they're kind of trying to make everybody feel sorry for him, and they're doing a good job of it so far, which is pretty good and interesting as well. Because
never thought we'd say that.
I know, yeah, who really would feel sorry for the Joker in the right mind? But they're certainly getting there with it.
Oh yeah, and okay, I'm just gonna go into a scene for scene what I love, because I don't even think I just liked anything in this. I loved it. Well, first of all, in the vein of, before we get into everything, let's just get the fact that who cares if it's not comic book ripped straight from the comic books or from a particular story. We both know, and hopefully you guys all know, and you haven't forgot that there's a movie called Batman '89 that back in the day, there was no Rotten Tomatoes. There were no YouTube critics trying to be contrarian for views. There was none of this stuff. Everyone loved Batman '89 when it came out. Everyone was wearing the '89 bat symbol. Everyone was hyped. We talked to many guests on our shows that were part of it and said that summer was unreal.
Yeah.
And guess what? Jack Napier kills Batman's parents in Crime Alley and that's not from any comic book. Joe Chill is the person in the comic books, if we want to be that fine combed about it. But everyone loved that movie, and there was a lot of liberties taken with the character of Joker, and there are different inspirations from different comic books, like The Killing Joke and that sort of thing. I don't really care if this is ripped straight from the comics, because the thing we know about DC Comics, some of the best stories are considered Elseworld stories. Some of the best comic books, and one of your favorite animated DC films, The Dark Knight Returns, is considered an Elseworld story. That's not considered canon.
Yeah.
And that's a great film. You don't see people like, oh, there's no girl Robin. Carrie Kelly isn't canon. No one cares. So I don't think that. I think that this being Elseworld story is one of the most comic book accurate things it could be.
Yeah.
And we love seeing different variations. Like there's even a caveman Batman. There's a pirate Batman. There's everything. So
it's so true, that is, and obviously, like, just going back to what you said about '89, Batman killed in that film openly. Threw somebody down the cathedral. He blew up one of the Triangle gang members in Batman Returns, and these are the very same people that, or predominantly the very same people that slated Zack Snyder for killing, in which I just find utterly ridiculous and hypocritical. So yeah, it is what it is. People have their own opinions, but like you said, I feel like DC uses movies like Nolan did. He expressed his own thing with, like, Bane was a completely different version of what he was supposed to be, and even his Joker had different things with his character.
Exactly.
So yeah, doing their own thing. Why is that so bad?
Exactly. So I don't mind the difference. I don't mind that this might not be a direct adaptation of a 1940s Batman comic. I'm fine with that. Okay, so we start the trailer with Arthur Fleck on a train. He seems beaten down. He seems like a loner just straight from the get go. We could tell there's something off about him, and he wants to be a comedian. That much we understand. He's got a captive audience with a young kid that he's making laugh, and right away we see what the world thinks of him in the representation of a mother telling them basically to get lost, stop bothering her child.
Yeah.
And we see his reaction with almost like a frozen, awkward grin on his face, and it's just the acting alone right there is great. After that, we see him do the Joker laugh that is probably going to be in the movie, and that looked crazy. The fact that he's just laughing maniacally and just all of a sudden comes to a stop.
Yeah.
Like
Brilliant.
And yeah. And I also read that there's like a illness where that happens with people that just will randomly maniacally laugh and then just stop, and that's like actually a mental illness.
Yeah.
So that could be playing a factor in it. Who knows? From there, we see him talking to his therapist, who's basically given up on him. And I love that we see a therapist scene because we've seen some great moments in Batman lore with therapist scenes. And Two-Face anybody. Then he says what I'm sure like a lot of people feel when they go and see a psychiatrist, that the people, do they even really listen? Are they just there because that's what they get paid to do? Are they just asking the same questions? And that's basically what he is proposing to her. And then we see that what it looks like is he is adopting a Joker identity, and that he switches in and out from Arthur Fleck and Joker, and we see Gotham getting riled up, and we see posters and flyers like saying "Killer Clowns on the loose," and it almost looks like he's starting a movement. And we even see him at a thing where he's out of makeup, and it looks like he's reveling in the movement that he started. And as he talks about, he feels like he's finally existing and he's finally a real person.
Yeah.
Then we see a really cool scene. I love this scene. If you've seen King of Comedy, you'll get that kind of vibe where you see Robert De Niro in what probably is the moment that makes Joker or Arthur snap, where he's making fun of him. And that looks pretty intense. And then we see, like I talked about, the face paint. We see a little bit of Zazie Beetz. Who knows if she's going to be freaked out by the end of the movie and against him and think that he's gone mad, or if she's going to be a Harley Quinn-esque character. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But I really love the end. And what's interesting, too, is when he does talk at the end, he says, "Oh, Murray, one little thing. When you introduce me, call me out, can you introduce me as the Joker?"
Oh,
the one thing I noticed about that, besides the fact that I had goosebumps all over my body, was that he didn't change his voice at all. He just had the same voice.
Yeah. Yeah, like a cold sort of... cold sort of voice, very sort of emotionless.
Very interesting that he's not thinking he has to put on this weird, crazy voice.
Yeah.
And then I think the final thing that I want to comment on is the way that this film builds, even in this trailer, and I think it's going to be it's going to feel like it's building the whole way toward the big crescendo or climax. Even in the way Joker moves, in the beginning he's like slumped and he looks very defeated and inward. And then as we see him adopting the Joker persona, he's becoming more confident, moving a little bit more proud. But also his movements and the way he dances, it almost looks like someone pulling back a bow and arrow or flexing something, because it looks very strained, and it looks like he's about to unleash at any moment and just go nuts, if that makes sense. Even like when he's dancing, it looks very flexed and strained.
Yeah, definitely does. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it pans out, this movie.
I am looking forward. The good thing is we only have a month.
Just over a month now, and it can't come soon enough. Really fascinated to see what it's about.
Now, I before we go back into a couple of new releases of toys, I want to talk about another DC media
Yes,
that is
definitely.
coming out. And I know that this is something that you're a little bit more hyped for than the Joker trailer, and that's understandable as well because there's a lot to look forward to. And it's the DC Universe Titanship. We got a new trailer for that. What do you think about that?
I am unbelievably excited about Titans because not only for the first season being amazing, but some of the little Easter eggs they're giving us, some hints they're giving us, are very, very interesting indeed. So we finally got to see a full look at Deathstroke, who looks amazing, by the way. A lot of people were sort of skeptical about a light up eye in the first trailer, but he looks awesome in this one. He reminds me of like a comic book / Arkham Deathstroke, which is just the perfect combination. You can't really get much better than that, and certainly looks better than the Arrowverse one. Anyway,
hey, that was a great cosplay.
Brilliant. They must have done that on the budget of about £50, but yeah, no, it's fantastic. Yeah, and I like the new characters that are coming into it. A lot of people were worried that they're going to just throw loads of new people in and it's not going to work, but it looks like they're going to slowly fade them in. A little bit of Aqualad will come into it, and then Superboy as well. It looks like he's sort of making his way to the team. I think it's going to be very much based on the 4 or 5 now with Wonder Girl. Of those characters, I think it's going to be mainly based on them. Still, centrally focused on Raven and Dick Grayson, who may even don the cowl at some point. Who knows? Because the end bit when he says "Be Batman," fascinating, really fascinating. And Bruce Wayne looks great as well.
That's the part where after the trailer you're like, wait, did they really just say that?
Yeah, when I first saw it, I had to watch it again because I was like, what the hell?
But yeah, that would be something if that happened.
I was saying to you earlier, I think if they don't, I think he's going to become Robin. He's not going to be happy because he doesn't want to go back to that. So
true.
He becomes Batman if Bruce is retired or something. Who knows? Takes up the cowl and he's like, no, I don't want to become Batman. So then he wants to be his own person. So he becomes Nightwing. That's what I think may happen.
Do you think that we'll get a Superman cameo? Because comically speaking, Superman is the person that helps give Nightwing his name.
I would love to say yes.
Do you think they'll give that to Superman?
I think we could do. I think they kind of have to at least mention or talk about Superman to have Superboy in there, really.
Yeah, maybe
of how
Superboy
he came to be. So, yeah, I don't think it can be ruled out. To be fair, no, because they talked about the Justice League in the previous series with Wonder Woman. So, it would only be logical, wouldn't it? I guess.
Oh yeah, and then from what the trailer showed too, it almost gives a hint that there's going to be flashbacks, especially showing.
Yes.
Because we know Robin burned his costume, and there are some images where it shows him with Jason Todd too. So you're like, wait, is that just another costume? But I do think they'll show flashbacks to the glory days of the younger Titans where they had Aqualad and all that. So
yeah,
that would be fun to see. And maybe they'll have like a Justice League cameo. Who knows?
To see some of the Justice League members, that'd be crazy.
Remember, these people weren't afraid to show Joker and stuff and other rogues, so.
Yeah, their Joker look quite cool.
But I'm really excited to see what this new season holds too, and I'm not too worried about them adding new characters and all that, because after the first season, I think even toward the end of the first season, the pacing and the storytelling got better. So I think if anything, they're going to have a better grasp on their style, their storytelling, and everything's going to be a lot more streamlined.
Yeah, definitely. And they can continue to do things like tell a main story and then have like the odd episode where they dip in and out of other characters like they did with Hawk and Dove. And I think that would work well for them. So they could have like a whole episode with Superboy and then he slowly merges into the team or something. I think that's what they'll probably do again. Maybe we'll get sort of 10 episodes or something.
I hope it's more than 10.
Yeah, same. I think we got
Like
11 in the
12.
last series, so hopefully we get more. But they've got a solid fan base now. People know what it's about.
Yes.
They enjoy it. People have got big respect and love for it. So yeah, hopefully that continues.
With The Office leaving Netflix, I'm sure Netflix really is looking forward to having this show back on.
Oh, definitely.
In terms of toys, because that was some DC media, and I mean, we gotta cover DC media because without media, where would we get these toys? So we're hoping that we see some Titans figures. We talked about it before privately, actually a lot, and we really hope that we're able to hopefully see McFarlane or some company, maybe Diamond Select, get in on it.
Yeah. So we're counting on McFarlane. Really excited for what they've got coming up next year. Hope that we get to see something at New York Comic Con.
Yes, but before then, we had a big announcement yesterday. Something that you even posted in your story, which
Indeed.
It shocked me. It shocked me because you're not usually a fan of these guys, and so I had to look at it after seeing that. And it is a good-looking figure, and it is I believe, the third of the Mezco 112 Batman. He's called the Supreme Knight. And
yes.
What are your thoughts?
I think he looks fantastic. I'm really, really impressed with the detail that they've included on him, which I know that you came up with some fantastic points, but yeah, so I'm really impressed mainly by the bulkiness of him. He's got a real sort of Dark Knight Returns modern feel to him, to be honest. But yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what happens with that figure, and I hope they do about 3 variants of him like they do with this, because it's cool to see multiple choices of suits and gadget colours and things like that. But Batman figures have always been great from Mezco, apart from the Sovereign Knight, which was ruined by changing the material or the sort of the colour of the material of the figure, which was really, really strange why they did that, because it looked phenomenal in the promo pictures, and they virtually changed the entire cloth, which was absolutely bizarre. I don't know why they did that.
And not too many people were happy about that.
It was a really strange move, but yeah, super excited about it. Definitely going to be getting a version of that, because it's one of the most impressive Batman figures that they've ever made. I still think the BVS original is their best. But there's some really cool accessories. The head sculpt for Bruce looks good. The 2 Batman cowl heads look good. The Equalizer, which I thought was originally a Disruptor, but isn't, as it looks very cool. It's massive, it's bulky as hell, that thing.
Yeah, what is it? What is it supposed to be?
I know, yeah, it is strange. It is really strange.
Is it a sonic cannon? Is it a gun?
Yeah. So he's also got a large batarang in there as well. The grapple gun looks bloody awesome. And the best thing about this figure is that he's got an alternate cape. We finally have a Batman figure with a wide cape, and it is about time we did.
A Mezco one.
A Mezco wide cape, just the holy grail.
Yeah, and I mean, I love that they decided to do 2, because no matter how much you try to make a cape look like it's draping with wires, it always looks like it's kind of floating.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't.
It's
doesn't
nice that
quite work as well, does it?
No. So it's nice that they give you the option to have one that's naturally just draping because of gravity, and also one to have some very cool action poses.
Yeah, definitely is. I wish they'd do that with the Keaton figure as well.
I would just hope that we
whenever it
got a
is.
pre-order of it.
Yeah, so annoyed that I haven't put that up yet.
But I'm starting to see flashes of what they might produce with their next Michael Keaton figure. A little bit of hints in this Supreme Knight figure. I told you a little bit about it. First thing I noticed is the chest area with the lines around the abs,
Yeah,
the straight lines. And the first thing I get, it's not bad vibes at all. I love this suit. Is I get the Batman Return kind of vibes with that, even though I know there's probably no way they're trying to do that.
yeah.
I think it looks really sleek and very cool. And overall, this figure, I have a soft spot for the first Dark Knight Returns figures they released, and I love the bolt, and I love that they looked straight up from the comic. This I really like because I always have a soft spot for older Bruce Wayne as well, and the fact that he's old Bruce Wayne, old head sculpt, and he comes with all those accessories, and it's just a kind of an updated version of what you said, Dark Knight Returns style. It's a very cool figure, and if they release it within the next year or two, I might get it.
Yeah, I think next year or two. So true. Yeah, if they do come up with some different colour variants, it'd be interesting to see. I'd love to see an all black version of it. I think it'd look evil in all black. It'd look fantastic.
I think they gotta do the classic dark blue or light blue with the emblem, the oval.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That would.
But I don't even want just a little oval. I want like as fat as that thing is in his chest right there. I want a fat.
Yes. Yeah, like in the first part of the animated movie.
Yes, just a big old oval. And if they even, our guest has some great ideas about Mezco toys and their emblems. And we already talked to him before the show. He had an idea where you switch the Batman emblems, and imagine if they did one where it's where he got shot with the armor underneath too.
That'd be amazing. That would.
But we also don't have to make these. We also don't have to make these or pay for the manufacturing of them. So our ideas are pointless.
But if we did,
we'd have some sick figures.
Yeah, we have some fantastic figures for sure.
But other than this, there's it feels like there's gonna be a Sahara desert style drought in terms of DC figures coming out.
It honestly does, yeah, in limbo.
From basically the beginning of August, when the newest Mattel wave was released, the 80th anniversary wave for Batman, we've been told that was the last wave that they're making, and as our resident Todd McFarlane expert here, Scott, has told us, we won't be getting any McFarlane toys until at least January. And even though we might get some images at Toy Fair and all that, it's not looking like we're going to be getting any multiverse or DC figures from them for a while. And it kind of stinks because we have the Joker movie coming out, and I know a lot of people are going to be hyped for that. And we talked about it before, like hopefully Figuarts or Mayfex or Diamond Select can step up and make an awesome Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only figure that we're waiting to come out for is the Mayfex Aquaman figure. I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else coming. I think he's out next year, in April next year, which is just ridiculous. Ridiculously long time away. But yeah, they'll do a trilogy by then. But yeah, there's not much else coming out, and I don't think we'll see any new reveals from McFarlane, to be fair, if I'm honest, because I think one thing that even if we don't agree on McFarlane getting the license or not, I think we can all agree on that they've been very, very classy about it. They've let Mattel do their thing. They could have stepped on their toes, but they haven't. They've let them, continue on as they were. And there's a lot of other companies out there that would have just flown all these figures out and said, "Oh, this is what we're going to be doing. This is exciting, all our new stuff." Yeah. So I think, McFarlane's been very, very cool about it, and that's great to see. It really is.
Yeah, they could have easily killed all the hype at Comic-Con with the Alfred figures and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
Could have just showed what they were going to make. Oh, that's already old news. But no, you're right. They've been
So
very
true.
classy. And if anything, it just gets me even more hyped that they got the license, because hopefully, if they're going to be that respectful for someone that's finishing up their run, hopefully they're going to be very respectful toward the characters and all the trademarks and everything that they're getting licensed.
Yeah, definitely. I just hope people, as you've mentioned before, to pick up the Joker license.
They
Someone
got
makes it. Whoever does make a figure of that is going to make an absolute killing on it.
Yeah, gold mine. Literally, that's a perfect word for a Joker figure. Killing.
They are going to make such a lot of money on it. Where even if it's just McFarlane doing it, it's like the Batwoman figure that Mattel did. Like they made that figure is so damn rare because no one else makes one.
Just like Jessica Cruz Lantern.
Yeah, I mean the Mattel figure is not even that good, but it's just the fact that no one else makes one, and she's super popular right now. That it's worth a hell of a lot of money.
Oh yeah, and if a company doesn't do it, you know that there will be customizers jumping on, and they'll be making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that actually, we're going to drop so many customizers on you on this episode, so don't even worry about that. We'll give you plenty of names.
Yeah.
In terms of the DC stuff, I'm going to just try to collect, catch up on Mattel waves, and thankfully I have Big Bad Toy Store sending me out the Lobo wave, so big thank you to them. And that'll be fun to finally see that, because I've never seen that on shelves. So that'll be. I'm going to try to get that, and maybe possibly try to get Ninja Batman, but that's quite a lot of figures to get.
Oh, Ninja Batman would be such a great figure.
Yeah, he does look epic. I can't lie.
Yeah, he does look utterly fantastic.
Now, I don't know if we mentioned already, but you have a. Yeah, we did mention it. We already mentioned this weekend's theme. Just wanted to make sure we didn't skip that. You and Lewis got the Green Lantern. You guys have already started.
Yeah, we did. Started tonight, and Lewis's shot's brilliant. Really is cool.
Now, even though there's multiple Green Lanterns, there's Kyle Rayner, there's, like we said, Jessica Cruz, there's John Stewart, there's Hal Jordan, he's not even the OG. I think it's like Alan Scott or something's the OG.
Yes, yeah.
Even though there's a lot of Green Lanterns, they're never knockoffs of each other, even though they're essentially the same character, right?
Yeah.
However, there is one character that bothered us recently on our newest episode review, that he's kind of a knockoff, but then Scott kind of also pointed out the way they set him up, he can't possibly be a knockoff. So, yes. And also, Scott, give us the information on this episode, because you, in we were our pre-discussion before this, you had some great points. So,
the history of our episode today. So originally this episode was a comic. It was called The Cape and Cowl Death Trap, and it was clearly such a success that they decided to put this in an animated 20-minute episode. And 20 minutes probably was, I think it was long enough. I don't think we need to see much more from this episode. But yeah, so it was originally written by Elliot S. Maggin, and he came back in to write this episode. And by write, I basically mean use tracing paper to write over what he did originally, because it's the exact same characters, the exact same aggravator in Wordsworth. And
can you rip yourself off?
Wormsworth, sorry, not Wordsworth. I'm on about. But it's an interesting episode. I like that it's kind of based off a comic. It makes a little bit more sense. And yeah, I guess they just needed to fill in an episode, and they decided to use this one.
I'm thinking they owed this guy Elliot a favor, or maybe Elliot broke Bruce Timm into the business, or maybe it's the first Batman comic Bruce Timm read or something.
Yeah, I think he had some well-placed threats at Warner Brothers Animation or something, and Yeah, that helps him along a little bit.
He must have. But we start off this episode where we see a guy that we're not really aware of, never seen him before. We later learn that his name is Mick Werter. Sounds like an Irish name, could be Scottish. He's at a miniature golf course. It looks like it's closed. It looks like it's late at night, and he is looking and reading a instruction on a letter, and it's not handwritten or typed. It's cut out from pieces of a magazine, and it's very reminiscent of what, Scott?
A good old 1995 Batman Forever.
It looks a lot like a Riddler letter.
It does.
Or a good old-fashioned ransom letter, which, I mean, we could let him get away with that. That's not too Riddler yet.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's pretty standard stuff. And we hear a voice. It sounds very Enigma-ish, very pompous, over there, your part of the world, you'd say posh.
Yeah, snobby.
Yeah. And the guy tells him to follow the lights into what looks like a path of sand, and because he's trying to get some bonds from the guy, and I guess he tells the guy if he listens to him he won't get hurt, and the guy ends up soon learning that he stepped onto quicksand and he's in one of these quote unquote death traps, and he's told that he can give up the bonds and be rescued or die. And of course he wants to preserve his life, and so he gives up these bonds. Later in the episode, actually not later, in the very next scene, we see a guy that Scott and I have seen a lot, and I'm sure you guys have seen a lot too, in toy photography photos from Mezco. It is Commissioner Gordon. They're having a classic one-on-one, him and Batman, about the loss of these bonds and what happened to this Mick Werter that we have no idea who he is. Batman must have also had run-ins before with this Josiah Wormwood, this who he calls the Interrogator, and we soon learn that he is a whiz at these traps, and this is basically what he does. He's like almost a hitman for the mob, but he's an extractor of information, essentially, without getting his hands too dirty.
It's quite cool, isn't it? That obviously they got history there because the commissioner's pretty familiar with him as well. I think that was just like a subtle attempt to give the character a bit more depth, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, this guy's a common Batman rogue. Okay.
It's like, oh yes, of course.
But because they're familiar, as Scott said, Batman knows that one of his associates is a guy that his name is Baron Waclaw Josek. Don't even know if I said any of it right. Scott and I are going to be referring to him as the Baron from this one.
Yes, I'm not too familiar with his other names. We'll go with Baron. That's a good idea.
Yes, and he looks like any other mob boss in Gotham. Looks like he's a well-connected fat cat, rich man. He's not skipping any meals. And as he's attending this dinner, this looks like a fundraiser, could just be a rich people's party, a reason to get together. Oh, it says it's for a foreign aid society. Okay. His speech is suddenly cut short when Batman decides he's just going to interrogate him right then and there. He doesn't really care about interrupting anything or freaking these people out that are trying to enjoy this probably $15,000 plate dinner, or $1,500. Let's not get too crazy. And then, of course, Batman does his classic interrogation stuff, hanging him off of roofs and just making him have to experience the grapple gun, dangling him from a billboard. He's able to finally get some information from him about Wormwood, and he basically tells Baron it would be extremely wise of him to get out of town as quickly as possible and not come back until he gives word.
Yeah, take an extended vacation.
Yeah, extended vacation. He's got enough money. He could do it. And from there, where do we go, Scott?
Okay, so after he decides to tell Mr. Baron to go away, Batman decides he's going to take things into his own hands. So Wormwood goes to meet Baron who it seems hasn't taken the advice Batman has given him. And Baron informs Wormwood that he wants, his cape and cowl, and he'll be rewarded handsomely for it. And Wormwood's getting a bit twitchy. He wants to know why he wants them, and Baron then says, "Oh, well, no, you tell me your secret first, and then you can hear mine. Where have you hidden those bonds?" And Wormwood immediately backs down. just like with all these type of villains, as soon as you confront them about something, they get all squirmy and they don't like it. So Wormwood is from that mold, it seems, and he backs down immediately. And we then go to, I think, one of the coolest scenes we get in an animated series, when we see the bat signal for the first time.
Yes.
Batman with the collector's eye that he has. He notices that he's got a new toy. Batman's a toy collector too.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. And Wormwood has a message that has been given to Commissioner Gordon for Batman. And
what kind of message is this, guy?
I haven't got the exact message. However, I know where the message takes him.
No, I don't even want you to read word for word, but what kind of a message is this? Is it a normal message?
It isn't a normal message, no.
What kind of cadence is this? What is it? Is it like it's a poem?
It is yes, it is a very sort of. It is just basically a Batman Forever episode on a budget, isn't it?
It's a riddle.
Yes.
I would not even do any of Batman's rogues propose riddles.
Is it Two-Face or Joker? No, it's the Riddler, isn't it? It's the Riddler. Yeah, he does that. Yeah, the Riddler does all that sort of stuff.
It's feeling very Riddlish to this point.
Yeah, the Wormwood is he's a B-Tech Riddler, is what he is. It's like the Riddler's failed brother.
If they made him Enigma, I think that'd be so much cooler when they eventually did show Riddler. Because you told me earlier, it's weird that he's such a Riddler cop, because this episode came before they even were close to showing the Riddler.
Yeah. The Riddler's
so bizarre.
fairly far away in the series yet, so it is strange that they did that. But
maybe they were just itching, and this is like a proto episode.
Oh, brilliant!
I'll stop interrupting.
Oh, it's funny. Batman is lured to Gotham trains, the railroads, and he's looking around the complex and goes into this train, and immediately it slams shut and starts going full whack around this track, and he's got a minute to save a woman that's tied up on the track. And the way that he can get out of the situation is by relinquishing his cape and cowl, something in which he would never do under any other circumstance. And Batman manages to find a way to escape out of a window. He tries to go and save the woman, but it's all an illusion. It's all like a hologram, and she disappears. And then as Batman glances over, he can see a red car steaming away in the distance as Wormwood squirms away.
Perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, he's just such a cowardly way of escaping. It's typical of a villain like him. And we see him panicking in a phone box, talking to Baron, saying, "Oh, well, his plan didn't work. So he beat the trap, but it will only need one more," which is going to lead Batman into a very sticky situation.
How did he do it? I must know. Oh, so that's a different villain.
Yes. Or is it? Is it? Might as well be.
I think they're blood related. Like you said, Batman is going to find himself in a different predicament. One he's not used to. He gets another, funnily enough, a riddle that's testing the Batman's detective skills, and it basically says, this is a place where a bunch of celebrities stand side by side in no uncertain words. And Batman easily deduces, okay, it is in De La Rue's Wax Museum, not Madame Tussauds. That's in Hollywood. And he finds that he is quickly in another trap as he enters the room, and all the basically crevices and areas where you'd be able to get out or anything are sealed off, and a light bulb is exposed. And we could tell by the fact that the all the wax dummies are starting to melt, that this is extremely hot. The wax is starting to get onto Batman. He's starting to, as Scott said, get stuck in it. And I'm sure it did not feel cool against his skin. So as it's melting, he notices that one of the wax figures, their steel framing is visible, and he sees that he could use it as a weapon. After he tries to, of course, like throw his belt at the 20,000 watt bulb and all that, and it's just not working. He uses the metal frame, almost like a javelin, is able to shatter the light. And that's also much to the delight of Wormwood, as he very smugly says, "Oh, congratulations, you were able to get past that. But you only managed to turn on a toxic gas switch, and that's filling up the room." And because I think Batman, because he threw his belt and maybe got trapped in the wax, he's not able to get to his trusty gas mask that he usually has. And he realizes that unless he gives into the demands that Wormwood's telling him about, I'll turn it all off, just give me that cape and cowl, Batman finally sees there's no way out. This guy has beat him mentally, he's beat him logically, he's got him in a death trap. So Batman takes off the mask and his cape, and that is in shadow, but we see that he rips a piece of the cape off, creating a almost Zorro-like mask. And Wormwood kind of gives him a little ribbing and like, "Oh, not as confident as we seem. A second mask." And he doesn't really care because he got what he came for. It's his prize. He wants to be able to show it off to the Baron and maybe get some information about why the Baron cares so much about these bonds. And later, in the next scene, after Batman is given up and the whole thing is gone, we see that Wormwood is in Baron's high-rise apartment in Gotham, where he's living well. He brings Batman's cape and cowl, and Baron, he doesn't want to give it to him the Baron, he wants to hear about these bonds, and Wormwood, he only wants to tell him about the bonds. And if Baron tells him about why he wants the cape and cowl, and finally they come to a gentleman's agreement where they'll both tell if you tell me. Wormwood gives the cape and cowl over, and then he wants to know what he's going to do with it. And of course, this is a shocking moment for all people that first saw the episode, especially if you were a young one. We hear the Baron say in his thick accent, "I'm going to," and then he puts on the mask, and Kevin Conroy's voice comes through and says, "Wear them." And then we see that it's been Batman all along, and we 1 minute ago thought Batman got bested, and we're probably all feeling sad, like, this is our hero, just got bested by this Riddler knockoff. And we see Batman was in control all along, and then this is probably the worst part of the whole episode, and it's awesome when we see villains go head to head with Batman, and this is just it's awful. It's because it turns into a prolonged fist fight, and this guy actually goes toe to toe with Batman, not with a fist fight, but using different weapons and things around the house. And what is your take on this guy?
Literally throwing his weight around, which is
yes.
It is pretty rubbish, isn't it? Even if they were similarly matched, it's just a rubbish fight.
They're swinging with 245s on each side and a 45-pound bar. They're just swinging these around like they're fencing swords, like they're nothing. And it's more believable for Batman, but I don't believe that this goon is able to just be that buff and be that strong. So it is annoying.
It's true.
Yeah, it's so annoying to see that this guy years of training, Batman, just years of his life to learn martial arts, and he's getting in a scuffle with this guy.
I know, literally Batman in real life would just crush him into a fine powder.
Just judo chop him in like a pressure point and drop him.
And so as he's fighting him, predictably the key for the airport locker, which the bonds are stored in, falls out of the hands of Wormwood and ends up dropping into a a coincidental swimming pool that is just conveniently in the gymnasium they're fighting in. So
Gotta love those convenient bodies.
oh
of
yeah, it's like Batman 66 with the conveniently placed traps and things like that. So yeah, he goes in. Batman wants that key. Wormwood gets it first, and yeah, Batman just taps him on the shoulder. He's like, "Yeah, give me that key." And Wormwood surrenders because he's a little weasel, and he gives it up.
He's not as confident as he appears.
Yeah, brilliant.
But from there, we finally see that Wormwood is given what he's deserved, and we see that he's being taken into we don't know if it is a place in Arkham, if it's just a GCPD holding cell, whatever, prison. See Commissioner Gordon is escorting him in. Right before he walks away, he gives him something that every collector daily would love to have, and it's a package. And that he didn't have to wait for tracking or anything like that. Yes. And he opens it to find a poem, and it's not it could be a riddle, but it's more like a poem. It says, "Confinement will speed your reform, but long, cold nights will be the norm. So here's a thing to keep you warm." And as he unfurls it, he sees that it is from Batman himself, direct from the source, from Batman Collectibles, a Cape and Cowl.
Yeah.
Would you go to jail to get that?
Oh, I think you probably would, wouldn't you? You don't have a choice.
It's a 1 or 2 year sentence that night.
Yeah, and when you get back out, you can stick it straight on eBay, and then you'll be back in business for some more wrongdoing.
Maybe that's how these criminals have been surviving. They just take all the batarangs, old grapple gun lines.
There's Batman memorabilia.
Yeah, we got some Batman stuff here. We got some. But did that Cape and Cowl come with the extra wired cape? It's not Mezco quality.
If that thing's got wires in it, then that's twice the value straight away.
Especially if it's a custom.
Oh god, yeah, if it's a custom.
Now, what do you rate this episode, Scott?
6 out of 10. Don't look forward to it. It's not particularly good, but I do like the fact that it's based on a comic, which is quite nice. Nice for the writer of the comic to get a nod as well. So, yeah. And the fact that this was made before the Riddler. If it was made after, it'd just be a cheap knockoff. But the fact that it's made before the Riddler comes out, give it a 6 out of 10. What are you saying?
I probably would have went lower until we had the discussion and you pointed that out about the Riddler thing. I think that's actually a good point. But watching it when I grew up, I didn't watch it in order, so I just immediately was like, fake Riddler, don't care. But watching it now, it's actually cool, and it's like you said, it's cool not only that it's based on a comic, but that the guy that created the storyline. I mean, it's so rare that those people, even if they created a character, get to work on that character again. So it's cool that he got to. And even though it's essentially the same storyline, it's cool that he got his say and got his fingerprint on in an episode of a show that's probably never going to get old and only get more classic as time goes on. So that's a big thing.
Very true.
And so good for him. It's not the best story, not the best villain. If you're an avid Batman fan, you instantly just think Riddler knockoff. But it is a cool little twisty moment, because I think that you might be so distracted by the fact that it's a Riddler knockoff that you never see the Baron twist coming.
Yeah.
And that is a pretty cool twist.
Yes. No, it is. It is a cool twist, to be fair.
Like we talked about a little earlier as well, the episode could essentially end there because no one's interested in seeing a prolonged 6-minute fight between these two. And that they were padding time because they ran out of material.
Very true, actually. Yeah.
Because if you think about comics back in the days, they might have been like 10 pages. Even nowadays, like it's not really a 30-minute or 22-minute episode worth of material without some filler.
Yeah, and like comics these days are in series as well, so it might not even end at the end of the comic.
which really sucks.
Yeah.
But you gave it a 6. I will go ahead and give it a 6 as well.
Yeah. 6 is fair.
Yeah, it's very fair. I would easily give it lower, but I think that the point you brought up, they raise it a little bit, and it is at least it's something different, different for the fighters.
Yeah, I don't think it's not too bad a story until it gets that. There's like you said, that stupid ending, but it's a bit weird.
Yeah, but it's if like we also have said many times, the worst episodes and the most painful episodes of Batman the Animated Series aren't actually that painful.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot better than those things created today.
Yeah.
But we have Robin's Reckoning, correct? That's the next one.
That's the next one. It's just going to be a blast. 2
That's
parts.
a little bit more popular than this.
It definitely is. Yeah, a couple of people picked that in their top 3, haven't they? Great episode.
It also has won a daytime Emmy, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are going to be working with award-winning content with this next episode review, and we're going to be what's our next guest that we have on this podcast before I get to the guest after him? I want to be respectful.
Yes, definitely. Well, our guest coming up today is fantastic guy, really nice guy. Got some amazing collectibles, very diverse. He's got so many different lines of figures, and he's got so many different dioramas as well that I know we both will and have asked him about. And he's also got a couple of very cool new figures, and all the sort of props that he has in his photos are amazing, which we get to ask him about. So our guest today is Astro_Ender on Instagram. Make sure you check him out. He's a really cool guy. Help him get to 10K.
Yes. His real name is Jerry. If you're a fan of Seinfeld, that'll be easy for you to remember. But yeah, we already interviewed him, and like Scott said, he was a great guy. And if anything, I got out of the interview, outside of the fact that he's a great guy, a talented guy, I really liked how open he was to criticism.
Yes.
Constructive or not, he takes the criticism, and instead of being poo-pooey about it or whiny or thinking people hate him, he tries to apply it and get better. And I also like that he is so willing to give shout outs and help us learn about some customizers we've never heard of before. Well, at least one that you haven't. But
yeah,
it was cool.
True.
So I'm looking forward to that. Well, we already did it, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Just on the other side of this, and then along with the episode review next week, and hopefully some cool toy reviews to talk about, or at least some new DC Multiverse. We will have D Amazing, who is a YouTube reviewer, and not only that, but he is an outstanding toy photographer on Instagram as well. He also has recently been doing a lot of promotional images for Mezco themselves, so that is a big deal, and we're looking forward to catching up with him and seeing how life's going for him and congratulate him.
Yeah, definitely. It's massive. And he's somebody that I actually know from YouTube, not from Instagram for once. Love his reviews that he does on there. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he always does solid reviews full of information, and that is obviously seen by the amount of subscribers he has. People really look forward to hearing what his thoughts are when it comes to plastic. Soft goods, regular goods, anything. He does it all as well. So we got a couple of big episodes coming up, including this one. And this one's actually going to be a decently sized one, almost 3 hours. So. And because we don't know if we're going to get this on Anchor or not, we're going to try our best. But we know for sure we can get it on YouTube. So this episode might just be on YouTube, but we'll try our hardest, as much as we are just '90s kids with no technological abilities. We are just going to try our best.
Getting an episode has been an achievement, to be honest, for this thing.
Yes, so it's been fun, but nothing can stop us from doing this because we enjoy it. And even on the days where I feel like we might not be up for doing it, it usually feels like after we're done recording that we're really happy we did. So this has been a marathon day. And we hope that you guys enjoy the content. We want to thank you again for your support, your messages.
Definitely.
Let us know we suck or we're good. Scott gets a lot of nicer messages than me, so keep sending him the nice stuff.
Brilliant. But no, it genuinely echo what Tyler says. You know, if there's anything that people want us to talk about, anything you want to hear, anything you want to hear us discuss and debate, or even any guests you want to hear from, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
Even if they hate us, we'll have them on.
Yeah, even if they hate us, yeah. Or even, exactly.
If anything, it'll be more interesting.
Definitely.
But I'm looking forward to the remainder of the Bat Collector Lewis, as well as Scott's theme with the Green Lantern. So this will be out in the midst of it, so make sure you guys are following both of them, checking that out as well. Keep your eyes on our guest as well, Astro_Ender, because he's going to have some cool stuff with some companies that we are fans of. And yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. I know I keep saying that, so I'm going to end this now. See you on the other side.